Stay
Yo,
off the
let's
phone.
yo AG, take us home, man.
Oh, with what the feature joint that we was
Yes,
talking about?
yeah, take us home, bro.
All right, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like bringing it up as far as new stuff that Nas got going on. There was a feature verse that leaked out that's upcoming on this Clipse album, which the rollout has been impeccable. But Nas is speaking very much to his legacy. Ironically enough, on this verse, which this verse has been done before all this stuff unfolded. So, I take it that everybody here has heard the verse, right?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Which is not the full verse, but on that verse it sounds pretty exciting. What Nas is spitting on there. I don't know if it's going to be a verse of the year contender yet without hearing the whole verse, but it sounds like he's talking his talk on there. So I'm very much looking forward to that verse.
Man, this rollout is crazy. I mean, you got a Nas verse where he's talking that talk. You got a Stove God verse where he's talking his talk. You got Kendrick verse where he's going crazy. Man,
Love
this might be the best rollout I've seen in a long, long time. You got videos accompanied with it. AG Coop, I might have to end up reorganizing my duo list, man. Y'all had me on the clips before all of this happened. I may have to go back and take a look at it. If this album comes out the way it's projecting, we may have to have another conversation about where these guys actually where they're ranking. I'm not gonna lie.
Where you got him now?
I got him in top 5 duos of all time for sure. Definitely top 5.
As far as duos, you say?
Yeah,
Duos,
duos.
top 5? Yes, they are top 5.
Yeah.
Definitely top 5.
I'll say line for line, lyric for lyric, I might have them at 1 already, if not only behind Outkast, as far as line for line.
So LP, that's my thing. As far as the MC craft is concerned, I only have them behind Outkast.
Yeah.
And
where do y'all count Tribe as a duo?
Yes.
I mean, I do,
Okay.
but there's that whole shit about duos because Alicia, he, DJs like is Run DMC a duo? I think they're a duo. You know what I'm saying? But line for line, they're not fucking with Clipse like at all. And I love Tribe. Does Tribe make the better music? In my opinion, yeah.
Like how about this? On some rap shit, lyrically, Clipse are the best duo ever. If we're talking just lyrically speaking, in terms of what your traditional lyrical East Coast inclinations are, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because what Outkast provides lyrically is different. I understand for people that are not from down here. Like Andre gets the respect, but Big Boy doesn't. Is what I'm saying.
And that's why I have them at 1 because I don't think that Big Boy gets enough respect for his pen. I think Dre gets like 80% of the credit when Big Boy was really holding it down a lot of that time. And then the only reason I don't have Mob at 1 is because I just respectfully can't put Havoc on the same level.
Oh, okay. But I'm gonna fight back with you on that, LP, because you're supposed to be Queens get the money. So
all day, baby. But I gotta be objective.
If we're talking about duos, it's all encompassing what they bring to the table. And I'll give you the lyrical argument that you and Coop talked about because Havoc would be the weak link in that. But Clip's whole career, they've had to rely on the likes of Pharrell and Kanye for their soundscapes, and then you got Havoc providing majority of the soundscape for the Mob. So even what he lacks in lyrical prowess, he's making up for giving us some of the best production we've ever heard.
Hey,
I wouldn't put Clipse over.
Hold on. What I would like to submit to both of you guys about why Outkast should be still ahead of Mob, though, is the fact that, people forget they produce most of ATLiens and Aquemini and Stankonia, they goddamn selves.
Yeah, no, I'm talking about against Clipse, not Outkast.
Against Clipse.
Yeah. I mean,
okay,
and honestly...
Sorry, little ATL bias. Sorry.
And okay, so my favorite duo ever is Mobb Deep. That's not even a question. Everything considered. The albums, the sound, my personal taste, I go with Mob. I'll even give Coop, to your point, I'm going to give Havoc the extra credit because on Infamous, he got a lot of help from Tip for the most part in direction. But everything since then, it was only Havoc. We know with Cast, they still had organized, noise and all them. So it was a team of people. You did have live people playing the guitar. Havoc in them had to sample them guitars. So from degree of difficulty, I'm going to shoot Havoc that bail over Outkast when it comes to the production side.
But what I will tell you is that the album that is considered to be their best album, Organized Noise, did not.
Which
Right?
one?
Aquemini.
They didn't do a criminal.
Organized Noise did 2 beats on Aquemini. I think.
I
Yeah,
love that shit too.
I'll say this. Like, I think that's going to be the
very
top
comparable.
3.
Hold on, real quick. That's very comparable to Q-Tip giving them "Give Up the Goods and Drink Away the Pain," sir.
Yeah. I think that's the top 3, duos. Like, I think the Clipse will make their stamp for the top 3, and then I don't want to disrespect Tribe like that, but I think they would fall to 4 for me. But
Eesh.
See, this is an MC conversation, though. If we're talking catalog, this kind of reworks itself maybe a little bit. I have Outkast at 1 on guards,
right?
But if we're talking catalog, Tribe jumps over.
Right.
Yeah, true.
I got Tribe 1 or 2. If we're calling duos, I got Tribe at 2, and I might personally, albums wise, put them over Mob. Just personally for me,
and
even though
one that's here's one that's a curveball. If you'll respect this because you're a fan of them just as much as I am. Little Brother rounds out my top 5.
Oh God.
Yes. Hey, cool man.
No.
I need this fade, dog. What's up? What's up with Fonte, bro? I know you guys had LT. Look, I'm making it, bro. I'm on Hip Hop Talks. I might be on LT's next album. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, I'll do the prayer.
Hold on. First of all, LP, real talk, LP. If you make LT's album and he don't send me a track so I can spit these bars, me and LP gonna have a problem in the streets if you make the album and I don't.
Yeah, my voice got taken off.
That's the first thing. First thing. Sean, nothing personal. You don't got no bars. Nothing personal.
Yeah, I got a tiger stripe scarf. You know what I'm saying? I'll figure it out.
You come out looking like Purple Rain. I'm gonna talk about you.
Wow for that. Let me ask y'all this real quick while we on the rollout for the Clipse album. Do y'all think that the Kendrick verse, like hearing the verse, majority of it, do you think it was worth all that was went through to hold on to it versus conceding? I know the principle, they should have stood on business. I get that. But hearing the verse, was it worth it? Because I'm going to tell you right now, I love the verse and I think it was worth everything they stood on for that feature.
I respect them standing on their ground about it and not having anybody change it or do whatever, and it helped them get out of the Def Jam deal. Def Jam is trash, dog. I'm sorry. Like, I don't know what's going on with them, but it's horrible. And when I heard that they signed with Def Jam, I thought that was a bad deal. You know? The verse, honestly, I've only listened to it once because I just want to wait for the album to come out. I see some of the breakdowns, the way that he's using Jen and every other word and all that. So maybe, I mean, I think overall it's worth it. But as far as like lyrically and all that kind of stuff, it's hard for me to say. But I just respect that they didn't budge on it. You know.
I'm glad you brought up that Jen because first of all, when he was like pacing himself using the same template that the brothers, that they laid out with the flow pattern, that was dope. That was cool. But when he switched gears and started going into the Jen flow pattern, using the Jen prefix for all the words, he's done this before. And it lets me know that when he's on a track with Pusha T, that he understands the MC assignment. Because if you go back to nostalgia, he uses the same thing with the 10 scheme. Like, you know what I'm saying? 9 times out of 10, niggas don't pay attention. And when tension's in the air, 9s come with extensions. You know what I'm saying? Like, he does the same thing, like, you know what I'm saying, with his bar work.
AG, I'll ask you. I understand that the nostalgia verse, when they break it down, it was everything that they said it was with the breakdown and the math. Is the Gen stuff, the way that they're breaking down, actually what that is? Or is it people just doing what they do with Kendrick's music, where they look for things that aren't there? And then also, shout out to EPMD, of course. So, is it really like that?
Word. Yes.
Yeah.
I think the verse is for real like that. It's not as good as the nostalgia verse, but I think the verse is for real like that.
Okay. Cool. How does it make you feel? Because you the Clipse guy. Like how does this make you feel?
So I'm a little worried because this isn't normally what they do. In all honesty, I've been waiting for you to ask. I'm not as excited as everybody else.
Oh shit! I gotta hear.
What do you mean? Like this is not what they do?
Their proof is usually in the pudding. Like their features aren't get your attention features. It's this fits within the framework of this classic rap shit that we're trying to make. So they have a tendency to not overextend themselves. And not saying that the guest appearances aren't like big name guest appearances. This just feels a little bit more forced than organic with some of this, like they're trying to prove a point. Now, if they're trying to prove a point, here's what I hope. I hope the point that they prove with this album, when I listen to it, is that this is one of the top 10 rap groups of all time, because I'm not expecting this album to be better than Hell Hath No Fury. But I do expect it to be better till the casket drops, and somewhere comparable to Lord Willing, minus grinding, because grinding is something unto itself. Has a rap song. Very few rap songs are. It's a hit song, but it's just as much of a street legend song that it is an actual hit record. It's rare when you hit a mark like that. So I feel like making an album comparable to Lord Willing and better than Till the Casket Drops gives them 3 really, really great albums. And the people that we just got done mentioning them with on some MC shit, well, they have all of that. And so I still feel like they need all of that. But they usually don't go get it this way. And so I've never seen them get it like this. And that's what makes me worry. But also, too, you got to update your formula. You got to adjust with the times. All this stuff sounds good. It doesn't sound epic to me. I am used to their shit sounding a little bit more epic. It sounds good.
I want to ask you something on that, Coop, about the production. Before I get to that, I will say I think that the features are organic to me because, Push was supposed to have Nas on It's Almost Dry, but he didn't do the verse for like Hear Me Clearly. So that was a thing. So he's been chasing that Nas feature for a while. Kendrick, if they didn't collab already, I would say I agree on that point, but they have a history there. And so I think that was kind of organic. Plus, they have a common foe. It just is what it is. And Stove God, if they're thinking about people like who talks this coke talk just as good as we talk, then he's the guy.
No, so that's what I mean about organic. No, the Clipse doing a song with Kendrick is not organic, because the way the Clipse talk on their albums, Kendrick don't talk that way.
Oh, so you holding them up to Mr. Morale standards?
No. Listen to what I'm saying. Nostalgia is on Pusha T's album, and even on Nostalgia, that is something that Kendrick took the dope game and metaphorized it. You know what I mean?
Right.
He's still talking the way Pusha talks. Kendrick don't talk the way the Clipse talk. Nas don't talk the way the Clipse talk. Stove does. Stove is the organic choice. The Kendrick and the Nas thing is the grabbing for the name, like he grabbed for Jay-Z for Neck and Wrist. Yes, it is that. Because think about this, guys. Name the rap album with Nas and Kendrick on it as a feature artist.
Yeah, I think Jay-Z and Pusha talk is very similar. I think they're talking very similar.
It's similar, but what I'm saying is no, Drug Dealers Anonymous is organic. Neck and Wrist is, oh no, let me put Jay right here so I can make it move and make it make sense. This feels more like Neck and Wrist with the Nas and the Kendrick pull to me. And once again, and this is what I mean about name grabbing. Think about this. This is the artist that get Kendrick and Nas on the same album. That's a big fucking haul, guys.
Well,
that's a big haul. And so a lot of expectations come with that, because a lot of people who are not as familiar with them as we are paying attention because they got a Kendrick verse. They got a Nas verse. Who these guys again? Because some niggas still don't know.
Yeah, they like that though to me.
Coop, I think that like the same way that you talked about Nas earlier and how about he's gonna possibly retire, so we need to appreciate it. I think the Clipse are treating this album like the last Clipse album, because I think that they had to do a lot just to get Malice back on board to even rap the way that he's rapping, or to rap, period, which is why Pusha was able to have that solo run for a long time. I've been a Clipse fan since the beginning. So I remember Until the Casket Drops, where they had Kanye on Like a Big Deal and Cameron, and when they try to do this song with Carrie Hilson, and Pusha has always, that's a misconception. People think that Pusha don't care about mainstream. He does care, because he's tried to do it on numerous occasions. So I think that Clipse now, I think that they're fully playing the game. I think they want all their props, and I think that they're getting all the MCs on the album that they want for it. I think Jay's on the album. You got to prove me wrong that Jay's not on there. I think that Clipse got all the artists that they want. To your point, maybe Kenny is for the name factor. Nas is a respect factor. Stove is the one cat talking that shit right now that also has a good melody, can sing the hook and dope rap. And I think Hove is the
Okay.
secret verse that they've been waiting on forever. Because if there's
Okay.
any MC that you're going to wait on, Pusha and Malice will wait on Hove, and or they'll wait on Andre 3000. Because I think
Okay.
Pusha said that he's been trying to get them for him. So you know, so I still think another
But
verse
that's
is coming.
okay. So
Tell
everything.
Pharrell to bring out the release the flutes.
Hold on. So listen to what you're saying. Okay, let's run this now. So first of all, we're addressing the fact that at least on some rap shit, this is one of the 5 best duos ever, right? If we're just talking
Yeah.
like rap, one of the 5 best duos ever. We're also acknowledging the fact that they have a pretty impressive catalog between their mixtapes and their albums, and they do have a classic in Hell Hath No Fury. We're acknowledging all that, right?
And We Got It for Cheap. Volume 2 is a classic mixtape, top 5
I
mixtape
agree.
all time.
I agree. I love We Got It for Cheap Volume 2 the same way I love Trap or Die Volume 2. I actually like it better than Volume 1. So I agree with you on that. Pusha T has a classic in his pocket in Daytona and has been one of the more prominent solo artists for his era, right? And so you're telling me that this duo is coming back together after 15 years. And with all of those things being said, with their classic material in tow, group, solo, verses, appearances, and who they are just on some rap shit. And they got an album coming out with Stove on it, and Kendrick on it, and Nas on it. What I'm worried about is the fact, and Pharrell is producing it, by the way. Oh no, if it's not album of the year, it's officially a disappointment. That's the part nobody's talking about. With all these things going on, they have put themselves in a position, well, this needs to be album of the year. And so if
Sounds
anything,
like it's shaping up to it though. It sounds like
Right.
it's going to be in the running.
yeah, no. See, that's what I'm saying. No. You do not get to tote around this rollout. You don't get. I gotta be fair with them the way I'm fair with everybody else. You don't get to do this rollout. You don't get to tote out Kendrick at his peak. You don't get to tote Nas on what might be his grand finale run. You don't get to tote out a secret verse from Jay. You don't get to tote out a hook and a verse from the hottest guy in the streets on this dope talk the last few years. You don't get to do all that and it be anything other than album of the year.
What
No,
if
you
Nas
don't.
and Preem got album of the
Not
year?
not might be. When we hear this album, because of all of those things, it needs to be the album of the year, and it needs to be clear. That's
Well,
what I'm saying.
what about if it's in a year where it would clearly be album of the year, but Nas and Preem drop album of the year?
Listen to
Like
listen to what I'm saying. It needs to be better than the Nas and Preem album.
okay.
Why?
Is that what right? I was gonna
Yeah,
ask
I don't think it's connected, but that
because
don't
of the
even add
rollout?
up. If you're saying on one hand it needs to be better than Nas and Kareem, but then you say it might need to just add up to Lord Willing.
Because they've got more at their disposal.
But Lord Willing wouldn't be the album of the year. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you said, Lord Willing standard wouldn't make album of the year right now.
Yeah, well, there ain't no album that came out better than Lord Willing this year. What y'all been listening to?
But that bar is not a very high bar.
Yeah, so far this year been pretty bad.
I mean,
true, but Lord Willing is not a high bar, is what I'm saying.
No, but what? Oh, in today's climate, it is. That's why I'm saying Lord Willing would be Runaway album of the year right now. What are we talking about? Like Runaway right now. Runaway. There's not an album that came out that's as good as Lord Willing. Like not even close. Like the first 6-7 tracks on Lord Willing has come out.
No, but I mean, for what's like you said, it has to be. But if it's only Lord Willing level, you got Nas and Premier on the horizon. You got Alfredo 2 on the horizon. I don't know about the fall off, but joints that could easily leapfrog a Lord Willing level album is what I'm saying.
Yeah, because Cole. What the fuck is up with him? He needs to drop an album this year.
Okay, so y'all are telling me that Nas is on this album, Kendrick's on this album, Jay might be on this album, Stove's on this album. This is lyrically to you, LP, the #1 duo of all time. AG for you 2 or 3, and you're telling me that the Nas Preem album's supposed to be better and the Alfredo 2 supposed to be better? No, it's not. Not with everything that we just said, and Pharrell's producing it, and to add fuel to the fire, Pusha T is running around talking about, well, Chad really didn't do no beats for Hell Hath No Fury like that. Let's fucking see then.
Yeah, I mean,
okay. Let's stay right there because that's what I was going to. Let's stay right there because let's get off the Nas and Preem comparison or whatever because like it don't make no sense to even compare it to that. But like. So the Hell Hath No Fury thing from the New York Times article, that was the biggest thing that I pulled from that because I didn't know that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it's listed.
I don't believe that.
Well, I fact checked it. I fact checked it though. I fact checked it because I was like, wow, that's like groundbreaking news because it says like on the correct, the album's produced by the Neptunes, but you go under the production credits for every song. There's no Chad Hugo listing for the writer producer credits because producers get writers credits for song. You go at the other Clipse albums, Chad Hugo's name is in every song credit. So Pusha T is telling 100% factual truth. Chad is nowhere to be found on Hell Hath No Fury. I think they stamped it as Neptunes just off the strength of like that's family. But
Like how
it's
Tribe does it.
Yeah, yes, because we thought that Ali was producing all that stuff when it was really Tip. You know what I
Whole
mean?
time.
So I went and fact checked it. Chad is nowhere to be found on Hell Hath No Fury. So that makes me have more confidence about this album because my only reservation about the album was if Pharrell is doing this alone, then what is that going to sound like? But now that I got new information that he did their best album, Dolo, we good.
Real quick, Coop.
You mind if I just play devil's advocate to that for one brief second? First of all, I ain't never heard Pharrell's drums sound like the way that they sound on Hell Hath No Fury since Hell Hath No Fury. That's the number one reason I don't believe that shit. But here's what I will tell you. If you're telling me he took tracks or skeletons of tracks that him and Chad had started working on and he finished them, I believe that because there's nothing musically that tells me that he made Hell Hath No Fury by himself. Like there's
especially with them feuding right now. Don't you think legally he would come for his credits though if he did it? You know what I'm saying?
No, that's what I'm saying. So let's say somebody, ownership is a funny thing if the paperwork's not right, is what I'm saying. And so that's what I'm saying. Oh no, those could be skeletons of beats that they worked on together. Like Chad could have did a lot of those drums, and Pharrell could have went and finished them up.
But that's speculation. The credits say otherwise, man. The credits say. I mean, we don't need to talk about what probably is. We talk about what is.
I was following the rollout.
AG, if you think that something reads properly just because of credits, you missed my whole Glove interview where he broke down how that don't always happen. Right. So that being the credits don't make it the truth, and the Glove is because Glove is the one that got Dr. Dre to start doing what? Give people their
Well, let me ask you this question: if they did that before and Chad got his credits all through Lord Is Willing, why would they switch that up for Hell Hath No Fury? What sense does that make?
I mean, I could answer. I mean, I don't have an appropriate answer for that, but it's like, Pharrell being on the credits ain't enough for me because I interviewed a guy that was like, oh no, I made this, I made that, I made that. It's like, oh, that's funny.
That's Glove. But that's Glove though. Glove's situation doesn't have to be a copy and paste of Chad and Pharrell's situation.
So once again, back to the interview, he spoke to how that happens to a lot of people in the game. It's been an industry practice for a long time, so not unique unto the Glove. That's why I'm saying. I'm speaking from the perspective of talking to a producer that hadn't got his credit, that is responsible for getting the greatest producer of all time to give people credit. So no, producers don't always be giving out credit. Kanye's good at it.
Well, the difference with the Glove is he's not contractually linked in a group like the Neptunes are a group.
And that's what I mean about paperwork being funny, because we really don't know what they group paperwork looked like. Because Pharrell was part of doing the whole thing with Teddy Riley and Rump Shaker, and that was kind of independent of Chad too. Pharrell is kind of operated always separately as his own entity, even when Chad was there. We don't know what that paperwork looked like as far as the Neptunes. The Neptunes paperwork rise could really be Pharrell.
Well, okay,
it can only be Chad and Pharrell musically and not paperwork wise, guys. I mean, not to be funny, y'all watched me work on a whole podcast that you thought I had co-ownership of, but the paperwork said differently.
Well, the only thing is that I was following the rollout for Hell Hath No Fury back then, and so I thought it was common knowledge that Pharrell did that whole album by himself, and not from reading the back of the booklet and all that shit. They said it then, so it's hard to find the XXL magazines and all that now. Remember, a good amount of those beats on Hell Have No Fury was supposed to go to Foxy Brown, and the first time that Jay-Z heard Mr. Me Too and Wham was after Pusha took them. So I remember back then, Pharrell being the one where they said Pharrell produced all this by himself. And actually, I was on the Discord with Jack or a few of them, and I even brought that up then. Like, yo, from my understanding of it, Pharrell did everything on his own until I went to the credits and I saw Neptune, so I just left it alone. But
When you bring up Jack, you lose credibility, LP. Don't do that. You were going good. You were
Hey,
cooking.
look,
No, but when
man,
you
Cooking,
go
then you
song
brought
for
up Jack.
song, it don't say Chad, but it
it
just
don't.
says you look it up. It says song produced by the
No,
Neptunes. But if you
no,
look on every song, it has the writers and producer credits by name. Chad's name is nowhere found in any credit anywhere.
Right. And so
But that, I
I'm
might
saying
be
that
in the
just
minority because that wasn't common knowledge for me. So
Okay,
that
no,
was
I think I'm
news
in the
to me.
minority because it's news to everybody else. I just and me not
Mm.
so I think it corroborates with what you're saying because I heard it and I remember it just from reading a magazine standpoint or being on a double XL standpoint kind of deal. It wasn't something that I checked the back of the booklet at the time to figure out. So you saying that and Pusha saying that to me it only confirms what the noise was back then
I
because
got you.
Pusha said it now.
no,
Yeah.
Yeah,
no.
and not for nothing, that New York Times interview was fantastic. Those guys did a good job. Let's call it what it is. You want to talk about journalism, Coop? Them guys did a great job.
They were.
Yes.
I
John brought
love
up
the
a good
question.
question. Who
I'm
owns the
about to say,
Neptune's name?
truthfully, I love the questions more than I love the responses. If you really want to know the truth. Okay, so my only quibble with the whole Pharrell thing is one. First of all, Pharrell's always been the melody and the hook guy, so he writes most of these hooks. They're hence the writer credit. He actually is writing these hooks, especially on Hell Hath No Fury. You can tell from the melodies, Mr. Me Too, Ain't Ya, Trill, like all of that is Pharrell. Pharrell's a hook guy and a melody guy.
Nightmares.
Yeah, Nightmares. All that's Pharrell.
Yeah.
So when we're reading the credits about that, it's like, no, I do understand that part of that. The part of me that just makes me wonder this is that, well, he's never made something so wonderfully masterful before or since, beat wise or production wise. That's the part that makes it hard to believe.
Mm.
It's not that I don't want to believe what Pusha's saying or Pharrell is saying. It is just like the proof is usually in the music. And it's like, nah, your shit ain't sounded that good since then. Even when you've been working with these guys again, it hasn't sounded like this. So you telling me you just blacked out in that one zone that one time and you cannot return to that place since?
I mean,
I think a lot of producers have done that though.
Pete Rock with
Not
Main
all-time great
Ingredient.
ones. Nope, not all-time
Well,
great ones.
Pete Rock with Made Ingredient hasn't touched that since. Premiere at Moment of Truth hasn't done it
Hold on,
since. Swiss
hold on.
Beats with
But they
Flesh of My
had
Flesh,
stuff
Blood of My
before.
Blood.
They had stuff before. Well,
True.
I mean, Swiss case. So those other guys had stuff before. That's what I'm saying. It is like, oh no, there. How about this? Even if Gangstar don't make the Moment of Truth, it's like, no, Preem got enough with Gangstar.
So you don't
Like,
think that Pharrell had enough before Hell had, or maybe what if it's just the direction and we just weren't expecting that sound from him
how
because we're
about
used to
this? If
hearing
he
this from
really,
him?
how about this? I think so much of Hell Have No Fury's production, I think it is very RZA Purple Tape, like in terms of how
Yeah.
it is put together to fit the artist perfectly. Like not just that the beats are dope, but they fit the artists that they're made for. And so if you're telling me that he did that by himself, oh shit, I need to bump him up like 5 notches on my list. No bullshit.
Well, cool. What do you think of
To be
Brambleton?
fair, I know you said he didn't do that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Where was that
Now
at
I'm
since
willing to
then?
do some more research because that's one
But
of my favorite albums.
but what else? Like, it's not a whole lot of stuff that he's produced from end to end since Hell Hath No Fury. They even have a sample size to say you haven't did that
Oh
because
well,
the
shit. He
clips were
didn't. Well, if he's better in that form, he should have been making these full clips albums like this for the past 15
because you
years.
got till the
We have a
casting drops
conversation.
and then nothing since then in the past like 16 years. You know what I'm saying? And then like, you know, it's not like he was doing full hip hop albums for anybody to do a 1-to-1 comparison and say, okay, that's not what you did on Hell Hath No Fury.
How
So
about
it's
this?
easy.
This
Push's
information
last
makes me more
album.
excited for the album because now I am more excited about him potentially taking on this full task by himself with them because it lets me know he's done successfully before with them.
What do you think about Pharrell's production on Almost Dry?
It's better than Kanye's, but that's
Yes,
not
his
saying a lot.
half is better than Kanye's
That's
half
not
So
saying a
for
lot.
sure.
that's kind of in the vein of see the good Pusha knows what to get
Brambleton
out of
is
his producers. Kanye never made a Daytona for anybody else except for Pusha. Pusha
Okay.
never
So,
Pharrell never did Held Has for anybody but him.
so
So
respectfully, like Brambleton and Let the Smoker Shine the Coop are my two favorite songs.
right
Brambleton is crazy.
That's
to start that off like that.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm
I love
saying.
that song.
And
Yeah.
that
Because
surprised me because Kanye coming off Daytona for him before, I thought that they would have better chemistry, like currently, like not currently, but for that time coming off of
so how about
Daytona.
this? When we heard Till It's Almost Dry, we should have known something was going on with Kanye and Pusha right then, and we should have called it then.
Yeah.
because the disconnect is evident now when you listen to the music. But here's what I was about to say: as much as I love Brambleton and Let the Smoker Shine the Coop, I'm not even sure if those records production wise are good enough to make Hell Hath No Fury. So I still stand where I kind of stand. It's like, oh no, that was the best that he gave. Pusha Until It's Almost Dry. That's not Hell Hath
But
No
he
Fury.
might have just caught lightning in a bottle on Hell Hath No Fury, man. Like a lot of stuff is hard to recreate.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. If Brambleton and Let the Smoker Shine and the Coop production wise is the level, it's like respectfully, make up with Chad, please. Okay. Yeah, just like that. If that's the level that you're giving this Clipse album, if Let the Smoker Shine the Coop and Brambleton is production wise, how this Clipse album is gonna sound, it's not gonna be album of the year. That's not
No,
good.
I think Chains of Whip sounds better than either one of those.
I agree. Production wise, I agree. The beat is better.
Like Clipse, their albums have the same sonics, right? I hate using that fucking word, man, but it is what it is.
Shout out
Like,
to Jack. That's Jack's favorite word, Sonics.
and
Once
Beatty. I
again,
think they're
giving
competing
Jack
for the
credit.
fucking term, dog.
Giving Jack credit. You lose credit on Hip Hop Talks when you give Jack credit. That's minus.
We're going to give it to Dini on that one, man. Shout out to everybody in all the pods and all the spaces. But
Jack is
Lord
everything.
Willins sounds like Lord Willins. Hip hop, Hell Hath sounds. The whole album goes across that way. When you go to Till the Casket Drops, it all pretty much sounds the same. From what I've heard from the Clipse recent album, it all has similar sonics. Even that Nas, it all kind of feels like this. Like there's enough space, but I don't. It's spacey to me. You know what I mean? So I
That's what
feel
they
like we're gonna.
thrive under.
I feel like what we've heard is we're gonna get a ton of renditions of that with some flips in between. You know what I mean?
You know what I want to hear, and this might not be reserved for Clipse and their kind of talk or whatever, but I want to hear the Clipse present day on something like a "Excuse Me, Miss Part 2" or "La La La" track. That's what I want to hear.
Nah.
That's one of my favorite Pharrell joints.
Nah,
I want to hear Clipse on that.
We gotta move away from that.
You know, honestly,
Nah,
I
man.
think that's what
Nah,
fucked
they
up. I feel
go
like
crazy.
that's what fucked up Till the Casket Drops. I feel like until the casket drops, they tried. I feel like they were
Right.
like,
So
we're gonna try to do this. And Kerry Hilson and all that kind of stuff. I think they went for that. They swung and missed, and then they kind of splintered from
I
that
like
point.
that though.
how about
I
this?
like-
Here's how I feel. I feel like Till the
I mean,
Casket Drop.
I'm not mad at the album. You know,
How about this? I feel like Till the Casket Drop is really Pusha T's low key first real solo album, and his brother is just there to fill the gaps while he.
You could tell he
I
was
feel the
not.
same way.
He said
Yeah,
it.
he was not. His heart wasn't
Everything he was
into it
talking
on that.
about.
Yeah, he said it in the interview. He said his heart wasn't there. He said even after all of that was done.
Like the last part of the album to me is Pusha T trying to like transition into some mainstream stardom.
Right. He was trying
Yeah,
to
I
carry
mean,
yeah.
Malice is talking about go-karts for the kids.
Yeah,
You
he
know
was,
what I'm saying?
Hey, but not for nothing. Not for
401ks,
nothing.
you know what I'm
Popeyes is
saying?
my
Like,
favorite
yeah,
Cam feature though. Like easily.
Popeyes,
yeah, yo,
Popeyes.
that beat is wild. That was
That
Pharrell
beat.
too.
That's what. How about that? If the beats sound like that, that's the level that I'm talking about. That's some Hell Hath Fury level shit. That Pusha T verse, my favorite verse on that album. Like that's what I mean. How about
that's
this?
my favorite Clip song actually. Popeyes all the way around.
How about this? There are some beats that are on Till the Casket Drops. Doorman, Never Will It Stop. Yeah,
Yep.
that's what
with
that's
Ab,
what I
Live
wanna
One.
hear. Give me that. Like if the production is gonna sound like that, give me that. Don't give
But
me Let the Smoker Shine.
you know what? You fucked me up, Coop, because I got nightmares stuck in my head. And that's how you know that there's fucking levels to this shit. Because I got nightmare. It's just ringing off in my fucking head, man. That's how you know. Yeah, yeah. I really hope that we get something close to
That's what I
I don't
mean.
think it has to be the same sound, but I really like I'm a fan of the Clipse, you know, like
Like how
anybody
about
that
this?
I'm a fan of, I root for them, you know. So I really hope that they do everything that you want them to do, you know, and I have no reason to, based off what I'm hearing, to think
Based on
otherwise.
what y'all want though, like it's a song that leaked it's right before the Nas snippet song. It's a different song, but the beat on that sounds
I was
crazy.
gonna ask you, okay, so is that a beat flip of the same song, or did
I don't
LeBron
think
leak two
so.
different songs?
I think it's a beat flip.
Go ahead, Sean.
I think it's a beat flip because
Me too.
Really?
yeah,
I thought it was two different songs. Okay.
I think it's a flip.
I think it's a flip.
It didn't sound smooth though. The transition didn't sound smooth.
I mean, also too, the engineering's not done. Yep.
Right.
Say it again. On the engineer's done.
This
Yep.
is
Okay.
unfinished work right now.
Well, that
Everything
first beat was crazy. That
Keep in
first beat
mind,
was better than this
how
one
about
Nas
this?
I'm doing.
I'll never forget this. First of all, I was at the original Donda show. It's like, oh no, that ain't how the album sounded when it came out. The shit he performed that night was better.
Yep.
Yeah,
Like, where
but
the
that's
fuck is
Well,
Kanye though,
Kanye
man.
known for tweaking stuff like all
Yeah,
day,
yeah,
every
yeah.
day.
yeah, you know, for tweaking?
Because what if Pharrell is using Hit Boy's formula just for that Nas verse to flip the beat?
Yeah, I think this is
I
very
wouldn't be mad
much
at that.
this
Yeah.
is very
What?
much a Pharrell album as it is Clips. I think they're all moving in the same direction of we gotta like the same way again going back to Nas and Preem. I feel like they both equally it's Pharrell's album in his mind as much as it is the Clips album, and I think that he's trying to give them everything that he thinks the Clips needs to be that. You know what I mean? Like this is
I
gonna
feel you, but that's
like
part of the
LL and
problem.
Q-Tip. You know what I mean? In what way?
Oh yeah, that was one of my favorite albums last year. But I think that's part of the problem because, like they alluded to in the New York Times interview, everything about the Clips has been like association with other people whose names is bigger than theirs, like the
That's
Pharrells,
what I'm
the
saying.
Kanyes, Drake.
So how
You
about
know,
this? What if this album? Let's just say, how about this? Let's just say this album is better. First of all, I don't think they're reaching Hell Hath No Fury level.
I don't expect that. No.
I don't expect that to happen. So let's say this ends up being their second best album. Do you know what the talk is going to be if this is their second best album? It's the Kendrick feature. It's the Nas feature. It's Pharrell's production. It's the surprise J feature. Oh my God, it's Stove. We got the streets on fire. That's why it's like, oh no, I don't love it for them because even if it is album of the
You
year,
know what?
so much of the credit is going to be attributed to other people instead of them. That's why I don't love it the way everybody
Well,
else is.
that's what features are supposed to do to a degree. But I
Right.
will say this, Coop, though. I see what you're saying, but I think the strength of this album, and I've said this a couple shows ago, is going to be predicated on Malice's performance. I'm
Right.
standing on that. I'm
No,
standing on that,
you
bro.
read my mind because I was thinking about that. Again, we were talking about till the casket drop. My only concern was like
That's the
not
head in a.
even Malice's wordplay. Like his flow is off sometimes.
And
Like
he's
it's
sounding
not.
sharp.
Yeah, he sounded crazy. Look, I get it, but at the same time, how far would a rap group like the Clips go if they weren't with the Pharrell or a Kanye rapping about what they're rapping over the type of production that they want to make? So for me, I look at it like, yo, man, if you had the gravy train production wise all the way up, and this is the type of music you chose to make, and it worked out for you, and that's how we got to know you, then I'm all for it too. Because how many MCs don't even got that? You know, we're looking at a Stove God. Stove God can't even get out of his slave deal to make his own shit. You know what I'm saying? So
Fair
anytime
enough.
real
Facts.
MCs and
Right.
cats that are really rapping can use a Pharrell or a Kanye or whoever to get their shit off, then especially with this first quarter of the year, all of last year, the fact that the Clips is even, I see the chat, they're talking about the Clips possibly doing 100K, 80K, 200. Man, that's
That would be
love.
a
I
big
don't
deal
care
for
how
them.
they get it. Yeah, that's
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 fair.
No,
crazy.
Use your resources. Yeah.
no. You're
Yeah.
supposed to use your resources, but it does matter how you get it. Like it does matter how you get it. Like all rings ain't weighed the same. Like we just talked about KD earlier, where people look at KD a certain type of way because they don't look at his two rings the way they look at Akeem's two rings. Right.
Bingo.
So it's
Bingo.
not the same. So it ain't about just crossing the finish line. No, the rings get weighted differently. That like part of the reason why I love Hell Hath No Fury so much is that I'm very clear that is one of the best production jobs I've ever heard, and they equated it with their mic performance. The mic performance is just as good as the production job.
Yeah.
So if the talk of this album turns out to be the production and the guest appearances, no, I don't love that for them.
And who knows? I think that Malice is getting all the shine right now. Outside of
He
Push's
should.
TV line,
He
you
should.
know,
He has
Malice has
to.
been
I mean, so how about this?
getting
And let's
So how
praise.
not
about
forget,
this?
he's
So
52 years old. He's
So
52.
also too, hold on, let's not and I say this respectfully, and he's my favorite guy. Oh, when the last time Pusha T was rapping on a regular basis? Because it ain't enough for Malice to sound good. See, we're under this conditioned thought
Right.
because Push been so active, literally the entirety of his career. No, Push is coming off the first break of his career. Malice been on break, but this Push's first break too.
Correct.
He needs to sound sharp too. Let's not put this all on Malice. No,
Absolutely.
Pusha. Like,
I
how
think the
about this?
Malice
Yeah.
break is overstated because he was making music, but he wasn't just making like quote unquote
It was
secular
Christian
music.
rap.
So
Let me-
people
Yeah.
act like that he was taking the whole time off. But Malice was still very sharp. during
how
his
about
time
this?
away.
So how
He has a
about
No
this?
Malice album.
So history has taught us when our favorite rappers take a 4 or 5 year break, the results usually ain't what we want. See, Rakim, see Nas, see Kendrick, right? So that's why I'm saying this album really more about Pusha than people realize.
But
It's
when
like,
did Almost Dry drop?
That was 22.
That was 22.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. This is Pusha's
yeah,
longest break, guys. Like people ain't
Yeah.
talking about part of it. It's
Well,
like
I mean, I'm gonna keep it funky with y'all. Push is also in my personal top as far as who I look forward to
me
listening
too,
to.
me too.
Um,
But how many verses have you heard the last 3 years, sir?
right? No, I'm with you. I
Yeah.
really
I'm
hope
not.
that Pusha can get back to his pocket that he was in 05, 06, 07, re-up gang era raps. I think he dumbed it down when he got with Kanye. So a lot of
Yeah,
the rapping that he's done outside of Daytona to me has been a like Pusha here normally. I think he brought it down here because he's playing the game. So I would hope that Malice brings out
the
the the
rapping ass
the,
rapper
the
in him.
rapping ass Pusha. Even though I'm getting a lot of Biggie Pusha. You know how Pusha will get in his
I
Biggie
like
bag.
Biggie Pusha. I
Yeah,
like
that just sounds wild, like Anita pause. But yeah,
I
but
didn't
Yeah,
say anything. I was
it
going to
was it,
say
it was kind of
that does not need a pause.
it's
yeah, it
it's
does.
it's,
It
it's
does.
teetering. It's teetering.
But I to your
with a
point,
possible.
LP, I think I get what you're saying because that collab that Swiss Beats had with Jada and Pusha, I don't. It was dope, but it was kind of like underwhelming to the point where nobody talked about it afterwards. Like Pusha was rhyming like he was dope on there, but he wasn't rhyming on the level that we're used to, and Jada Kiss neither
How
for that
about
matter.
this? I
Best I
want to
hear
see.
Pusha
How about
rapping is
this?
on Freddie Gibbs stuff. Honestly,
Yes, yes, that's exactly what I'm about to say. No, I want to hear Pusha T. The Pusha T that's on Palm Olive.
Yes,
That's the guy that we need to hear. The Pusha T that's on Palm Olive. The Pusha T that's on Gold Rings. On the Freddie LP.
yeah,
The guy
yeah.
that's on Gibbs shit is the guy that need to show up for this album. Yep, that's
Hmm.
the guy. Like, cause when he's like that, I'm sorry that okay, so he excites me just as much as Jay because it just feels more evil when he's doing it. It's like it's something devious about it. I took a risk. I took a brick, took a road trip to a Motel 6,
L
get it
six.
wholesale, and I won't tell shit. Ride coattails, then he
yeah,
really that lit. Just another in the mix, nigga. I'm rich, nigga. Tell me, is you Alpo a Mitch, nigga?
Rich nigga.
That's the guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, seriously. I'm the best since
Yeah.
he died and he lied. The spirit of competition, one verse can start jihad. CPR pushing, the flow tends to revive. Pulling the
Yeah,
covers
that's it.
back,
Got
I
it.
expose what you this guy. Come on, man.
A
Like
present
we
felt
gotta put
pressure is
I
warm.
think I think Pusha he gets unnecessary shade because I think that a fan base doesn't appreciate all the writing that he's done in the past, and I think that people respect his pen, but I don't think he gets enough credit, dog. I think that especially we got it for cheap Pusha. I got more white in the hood than the KKK. I
Yeah,
sell nose candy Willy Wonka. He was doing that in '05.
yeah.
That's
mhm,
what Wayne did. That whole Big Sean argument about that word association, sheriff badge, all that stuff. Pusha was doing that in '05.
he
Um,
was.
I really hope he gets in that bag on this Clips album. And I get it. Pusha, he's learned to make the songs, right? Pusha's kind of like Jada in the sense where you just want Jada to go off, but on his albums, he's trying to make that song. Like he gets back into his bad boy shit where he like I got to make an album the way that we made him with Bad Boy.
Exactly.
So I
Exactly.
hope that he gets away from that on this album. I hope he goes straight
But
rap, rap, rap.
but to that point, I think having Malice on that other side and know what Malice is about to do. If you listen to that interview, he has so much respect for Malice, and we already knew that, right? We already knew that he had a lot of respect for Malice. But to bring his brother back into the booth, Push should know the assignment at this point. He's going to go crazy because he's going to have to match Malice pen, but
Mhm,
he's also going to have to match everything that Malice is going to bring to the table outside the pen, just Malice being there. Because he's
yeah,
been by himself with this Kanye freak show for quite some time. And
right.
now he
Yeah.
has his brother back in the studio with him. So I'm sure the focus is going to be there. I'm sure some of these songs are going to be kind of old. So I'm sure, Pharrell probably going to go back in the booth, tighten some things up, get them to do some things differently before it rolls out. And I mean, I think we're going to get the best version of Push, in my opinion.
Yeah, because that brings a level of comfortability, you know what I'm saying, with his brother being there that he hasn't had in a while. And from the New York Times interview, what I gathered is Pharrell might be low-key psycho when making an album. You know what I'm saying? And some of the best genius producers are like that. Kanye was very much like that. So, you know, I think that's to their benefit in this case.
I mean, look,
So
Pharrell's
I
interesting.